CGSO, and as I've already said, congratulations on your achievement. I think a lot of times you can work in a university but leave sometimes even without met or heard directly from the principal. I saw the letter so much in the time. Thank you for welcoming us as the CGSO. It's a pleasure. And regarding the family matters, I think it's just a confirmation that I've always spoken about, that we actually are sharing a surname, but we may not be related, because it's a very well-known surname in the Venda culture. Munyai, I think it's a very well-known surname. We're not necessarily related directly. So that's probably why the family matters have not reached me yet. But it's a pleasure. As the CGSO, and I think Prof has already spoken to the fact that we have a good or long-standing relationship with the University of Pretoria. In addition to the fact that I've also studied here at the University of Pretoria. But I studied many years ago when we used to, we only had English lectures in the evening. During the day, it was only Afrikaans. So you can imagine, because at that time I was studying accounting, we were doing whatever the kids auditeering, it was not easy, but I managed to finish. It was mainly, I would say it was more like what you would say today, online studies, because you're just there to pick up on what the material or which areas of the material you're going to be looking at, and you literally go and study by yourself and come and write with other people that have had their lecture in their own mother tongue. So it was not a leveled ground as such, but I appreciate what I see today, because I think a lot has happened, and I think there's been a lot of evolving within the university, and we are seeing that the opportunities are also extended to some of our counterparts, and we're seeing a lot of transformation within the university, which is a great thing to celebrate. So thank you, and I also appreciate the fact that I've been able to witness that happening. So Prof has indicated that we've got a long-standing relationship with the university. So we've signed an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the University of Pretoria in October 2024. But prior to that, we had already, I think for us to get to the journey of signing that MOU as the Consumer Goods and Services Ombud, it was preceded by long engagements in preparation for that. And some of the reason why we have signed that MOU was to talk about or strengthening. I think Prof has already said that law is a living subject. So one of the aims was to make sure that we bring the law, especially the consumer protection side of the law, alive. Because I've engaged with some of the students from the Nelson Mandela University and other universities around the country who have said that they will have mediation as part of their modules, but they've never experienced how mediation will play out in real life. So we as the CGSO are an organization that operates in the element of mediation, because that is our role. I'll touch on what we do as the organization, and the core of it is mediation. So that was one of the things that encouraged us to collaborate with the institutions of higher learning. We also collaborate with other universities, but as Prof has said, I think UP has been one of the first ones that we engaged with, along with the University of Northwest and others that followed up to that. But the issue was to strengthen the relationships between the two, the university or the best university in the country and corporate. We want to bridge that gap between academia and industry. We also want to collaborate on consumer education, because we understand that universities, and University of Pretoria is one of them, that are very active in the communities. They do a lot of community work. The idea was so that we can collaborate with them, as they always say that if you want to go far, it's better to go with someone rather than if you want to walk fast, we can walk alone. But if you want to go far, you have to take somebody along. So for us, it was an encouragement to get partners who are doing the same thing for the community so that we can collaborate and take the journey together. I think this is the second guest lecture that I've done at the University of Pretoria, and the information sharing and best practices. There's always that open communication between us and the university, case studies because we are dealing with real complaints on the ground where the consumers can approach us as an organization to lodge their complaints. And as Professor said also, that is one of the poor consumers. We are very much interested in the marginalized areas. I think in the past few years we've focused more on the basis that everyone is a consumer, whether you are poor or you are rich. It doesn't matter, you are a consumer. In South Africa said, therefore your rights matter. So we're there as one of those bodies that are there to enforce the redress that is due to the consumers. There are research opportunities also that are there based on areas where we refer to the law. Sometimes we find that there are gaps. We do not have any case law to refer to. It's an opportunity for students to also pick up areas of research and write and research what are other countries doing. The key thing that we've been talking about since COVID, which is 2020, has been the element of e-commerce, which we've seen coming up very highly from 2020 to today. Our law still has gaps there. There's a need for review of the legislation in South Africa. So those are other areas that those that are interested can also focus on. So I wanted to talk to the topic that I was given is to talk about the role of the Ombud, as Professor Munyai has said. And I wanted to touch first on the fact that within South Africa, I think South Africa is one of the countries that have a lot of, I think it has got a good consumer framework or consumer protection framework in which consumers, looking at the legislation, the bodies that are there to enforce this Consumer Protection Act, and it also has, we fall as the CGSO, Consumer Goods and Services Ombud, as part of those oh, okay. I should stand beside, right?
Yes, please.
Thank you so much. Also be able to look at that. So I was talking to the legislation and the regulatory body and the enforcement mechanisms. So within the CGSO, the structure I've shown in the previous slides, the structure is such that there is an ombudsman and there is a CEO. I'm the CEO. I look at the business side of the organization, and the ombudsman's role is to focus on the complaints themselves that come to our office from a legal perspective. So he's responsible for dealing with complaints. So